Get ready to interact with people in the know in today's edition of Church Alive.
Nagbabalik ang Family Rosary Crusade. Sa loob ng 5 araw ay nabighani tayo kay Lolo Kiko dahil sa kanyang matamis na ngiti, mapagkumbabang pakikitungo at ang pusong pagmamalasakit. Nakita natin ito sa iba't ibang okasyon na kanyang diduluhan.
Tenemos un gran sacerdote
puso ni Amang sa Tacloban.
que es
Sa gitna ng patak ng ulan at hampas ng hangin, pinaalala niya sa atin na si Jesus, ayan ang Diyos, na nakikisa at hindi tayo pinababayaan.
of
Kaya naman,
sympathizing
kinabukasan sa
with our
luneta,
weaknesses.
sa huling misa, wala ring takot ang Pinoy na nagtungo, nagpakabasa upang maampunan ng biyaya ng kanyang presensya. Sariwain natin hindi lamang ang karanasan, kundi ang mga aral na pinabahon sa atin ni Lolo Kiko. Kasama natin ngayon si Miss Judith Alpay. Hi, Judith.
Ay,
Ikaw ba ay nakapahinga na?
meron pa nga akong meeting right after.
Talaga?
I mean, the next day.
The next day. Yun, pero
First thing in the morning.
it's first thing in the morning. Hindi ka napagod.
Hindi, mas nakaka-energize actually.
Talaga, buti naman. Hindi, nagkwentuhan tayo kanina. Ikaw pala mukhang hindi mo pala balak pumunta ng luneta.
Hindi.
Sige nga, kwento mo nga sa akin yun. Ang balak mo ay first 2 days lang.
Bala ko first 2 days because it was the organized group. And then the fourth day, yung last niya is parang bahala ka on your own. So, inisip ko, ay, okay na. Tsaka first 2 days, nakita ko na si Pope. So, nanood ako ng TV. On the third day, nakita ko yung
de
Tacloban.
Roma.
And then I was touched. Maganda yung misa. Tapos, si Pope himself, he's a very good example. Kita natin, nire-reflect niya talaga yung qualities ng Good Shepherd. Pero we also see God in him. Pero, ang isip ko, nagre-reflect ako na people visit. So, dinadalaw niya tayo. Dinadalaw niya ako.
So,
Bakit wala ako doon? So, tas sobra ding feeling ko na, na pag wala ako doon, hahanapin niya ako. Feeling ko lang.
tama. Kasi, alam mo, every person counted that day.
And I also heard, and I even received a gift from a bishop ng pectoral cross niya. And it's about the lost sheep. So, ganun talaga yung feeling ko. So, I felt it was God inviting me to go.
It's interesting. I'll follow up that statement. You were planning to go there, you planned to go there at least yung mga medyo opening lang, medyo mas, sabihin natin, mas madali. And then, all of a sudden, di ba, he said, hindi, kailangan talaga nandito ako sa luneta. Talaga kaharapin ko lahat ng pagsama ng panahon at ang dami ng tao. How does one prepare for that kind of thing, both physically and bilang isang tao, and then spiritually? How does one prepare for that?
Basic logistics.
Well, yung
Pero,
ginawa mo yung nagpahinga ka ba bago? I'm sure nakapagod na yung paghihintay na makita sa dumaan man lang kasi diba, ilang oras ka naghihintay tapos ilang saglit lang. Pero dito para sa na I'm sure ito yung mahabang hintayan talaga.
The day before, I was also looking for a group to go with. And then I looked for a friend na I can sleep over with para pwede ako mag-park ng kotse hanggang Taft. So, yun. But the day before, I even had the preparation for a youth retreat in the coming week. So, parang in terms of preparation, hindi naman ko yun iniisip. Tapos inisip ko, ang arte ko naman, ano ba namang klaseng preparations to? Si Pope is the Pope of the poor and yung mga concerns ko, wala namang kwenta. So, hindi masyadong ganun kahirap yung preparation. It was more of preparing my heart.
Alright, dumating na nagmisa, dumagsak ilang milyong tao. Sa tingin mo, ano kaya yung, well, I'm sure nagbinigyan tayo ng biyaya, no, well, he was there, and we learned a lot from him, we were touched by him, pero on the other side naman, ano kayang nauwi ni Pope from us? What do you think? I mean, if you were the Pope, or what do you think he took home to Rome from that Sunday Luneta?
I was actually touched when I heard interviews after that the Pope would say it's more for him. Pero ako, yung time na yon, syempre hindi ko pa alam na ganun sasabihin ni Pope. Nisip ko na, waterproof talaga yung Pilipino. Hindi lang sa ondoy.
Yes.
Even in matters of faith. And I also heard some people call him the water pope. So, ano lang yan, play of words, pero interesting yan to me. In fact, they're even points of reflection. Tapos naisip ko rin, pope na siya, natatouch pa siya.
Oo.
Tapos, swerte naman natin how privileged we are to be one of those who could touch him as a nation.
Do you think the Pope right now feels, well, it's a leading question, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you think he feels a bit more re-energized from this visit to the Philippines, at least?
I believe that kasi I have priest friends who have access to him, the inner circle. And then they would say that the Pope himself would acknowledge how deep our faith is as Filipinos in spite of our poverty. Tapos parang ang sabi pa daw ni Pope sa kanila, he was sure that even if he didn't visit, our faith is growing. Buhay daw ang simbahan.
Judith, alam mo, even if there were millions na nandun, no, meron pa rin mga ibang hindi. And then I guess, like your previous question ko kanina kay Mia, no, maraming hindi nakadalo for whatever reason or who chose not to. Sabi siguro, okay ito, bakasyon. People are talking about the visit and, amongst your close friends na lang, who weren't there or who weren't probably as touched as you were, how would you share yung natutunan mo, yung mensahe ni Pope Francis in a way that, doesn't, that yung medyo maintindihan nila kasi syempre iba yung para sa'yo na nandun ka, iba yung kumaga yung build up, yung intro, yung context. Pero for those who weren't there, how do you make them feel or make them have a sense at least of what was there? What went on?
Ako I feel their curiosity is a blessing in itself. Kasi even if they didn't go, if they would ask, pumunta ka siguro kay Pope, no? Bakit naman pupunta ka pa doon? And then I'd tell stories. And then one other thing that's important to me that really happened was my dad was watching TV even if he's not a Catholic himself. So, tapos nagbabasa yun ng dyaryo. Back to back. So, feeling ko pa nga, mas alam niya yung nangyayari. Highlights of the homilies. I was in, for example, Luneta. Alam niya yung nangyari sa UST. Ako, hahanapin ko pa online. So, many people were reached even if they weren't physically present.
Well, ngayon is the days after. Ito na yung, although we are hoping against hope na he will come back on,
Sa
year
Eucharistic
after
Congress.
next. Hindi natin alam yun. May kampanya na in a sense ngayon ang mga Cebuano na bumalik siya. So ito na ngayon for you, how do you keep that alive? Yung the Francis effect as they call it. Parang napaka-corny na pakinggan kasi pero yung naging epekto sa iyo, naging epekto sa buong bansa. Paano natin bubuhayin yun? And alam mo kasi ang hirap dahil the following day parang balik na tayo sa buhay natin, balik na sa dating gawi. And parang, di ba, slowly, habang nawawala, parang tila nababalik tayo sa, politics as usual, business as usual. How do we keep that? And, kahit kung anong mga pakunti-kunti na pwede nating buhayin?
Ako kasi, believe na ako kay Pope as it is. Mas believe pa ako when he had some conditions coming over. Like for example, sabi niya, bakbakan yung mga tarpaulin. I don't want my faces plastered all over because I visit in the name of God. So, sa akin talaga, any lasting change can only come if we build that relationship with Christ our Savior. And in practical ways naman, for example, how to keep it alive, I've read Evangelii Gaudium 2 years ago. I want to read it again, especially as I do a lot of mission work talaga. Tapos, yung blessing to me, I feel affirmed because since I was a little girl, siguro 7, 8 years old, I grew up with an OFM spirit. There were seminarians in my parish. So, si Pope, of course, he's now the Pope, but he chooses to take on the Franciscan spirit, even if he's a Jesuit. I think it has been alive and it's rekindled. So, yung blessing ko is, sana more and more all of us will choose a life of simplicity and a life of obedience to God. in big and small ways.
Ito, last question sa'yo. Your friends or your family or your circle, have you noticed some changes, at least in attitude or mindset, since the Pope was here?
In
Or
terms
improvements maybe na ano?
in terms of spirituality, I think we are now more embracing of the poor because personally, I think the Pope has expanded the definition. It's not just those who are materially poor. I recognize my own poverty in different levels. And then I also felt that the people have been touched. And I'm just excited that we will see the change much later on even after the Pope fever has died down, when we're more back to normal.
Parang it's a sober, no?
Of course, we talk about it a lot, and some people now have even decided to go on fasting. When we eat even in fast food chains, parang sabi nila, wag kayong magtira, we're robbing the poor. Sobrang quotable ni Pope. Ako nga yung yung libro ko ng Evangelii Gaudium. Instead na naka-highlight lang some parts, parang gusto mong underline buong libro. So, I think the Pope has that effect.
Yes.
And the impact will really be in our lives.
Thank you very much, Judith. At mga kaibigan, magbabalik po ang Family Rosary Crusade pagkatapos ng ilang paalala. Thank you, Judith. Thank you very much.